Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to talk about differences between assignment operator and copy constructor. These two are very similar because they are both used in order to, let's say, initialize one object based on another object. And because they are very similar, they create a lot of confusion because there are also some very important differences between assignment operator and copy constructor. And the most important difference is copy constructor is used when you are creating a new object, completely new object, based on another object. On the other hand, assignment operator is used when you are changing the values, so replacing the values of already existing object based on another object. So that is the most important difference between copy constructor and assignment operator. And in this video, I'm going to show you on a practical example using the code that I have here, the difference between those two, and also some important tricks, tips, and errors that happen to beginners. And before we jump into explaining this code here, I would like to invite you to join my practical programming course, where you are going to learn all of the skills necessary to start a successful career as a software developer. So if you are tired because you cannot find a job, or if you already have a job but you are dreaming of a really big career as a software developer, then I'm 100% sure that the lessons that I've prepared, tasks, exercises, the community that we have is definitely going to help you to learn coding, to start your career, and to discover your passion for programming. I understand that learning to code can be overwhelming and hard, and that's why I created this course to be interactive and engaging so that learning is fun and enjoyable. Also, I believe that everyone should have the opportunity to learn coding and to take control of their future in their own hands. And that's the reason why I'm creating these YouTube programming videos, so free videos, but I also have a paid course where I can dedicate a lot more of my time, of course, and where you can learn directly from me, ask questions, you can get my help, and I can take you from beginner to expert in the shortest amount of time. So if you want to learn how to make real applications and if you want to start a successful career as a programmer, I will leave more details in the description, and the fastest people who enroll in the course will get a special discount. Also, we offer 7-day money-back guarantee, which means that if you start the course, try it out for 7 days, and you don't like it for any reason, you think that it's not worth the money that you are paying, you can get a full refund, no questions asked. And the reason why I can offer this is because I'm absolutely sure that the lessons that I have prepared are going to completely transform your career, and also I have seen the results of other students who have already enrolled in the course. So with that being said, let's continue with the video, and if you're interested, you can find more details in the description. Here I have some code that we will need for this video. I will also pin it in the comments so that you can also copy it and use it. And now I'm going to explain what this code does. So I have created a class called movie, and it has 3 public properties. Those are name, genre, and rating. I have also created one parameterized constructor, that is this constructor here. So it receives 3 parameters, name, genre, and rating, and then based on those 3 parameters, I am constructing or initializing that movie. So this here is parameterized constructor. Now, if you know about constructors, you know that when you start creating your own constructors, you lose the default constructor that you get by default. So what you need to do is you need to create your own default constructor, and that is what I have done here. Now you can create default constructor which will be completely empty like this, or you can assign your own default values. So here I have said that name is going to be empty string, genre is going to be empty string, and rating is going to be 0, whichever you prefer. So once more, here we have parameterized constructor, and here we have default constructor. Okay, so if I go to my main function, you will notice that here I'm creating movie 1 and movie 2, and I am invoking parameterized constructor here and here. And then here I'm creating movie 3, and since I'm not passing any values, that means that here I will be invoking default constructor. So now let's prove that. So if I put breakpoint on this line here where I'm creating movie 1 and I start the application, the execution will be paused on that line. So now if I press F11, as you can see, it is going to take us to the parameterized constructor. So if I press F10, 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 as you can see, this new object is going to be constructed based on the values that I have passed here. Okay, so let's stop the application. And then if I remove this breakpoint, but I put another breakpoint on this line here when I'm creating movie 3, and I start my application again, the execution is going to be paused here. So if I press F11, as you can see, this time it is taking us to the default constructor, which will assign these default values to the properties of our movie. So if I press F10, as you can see, name will be empty string, genre will be empty string, and then rating will lose this default integer value and it will become 0. Okay, so that is when this parameterized constructor is invoked and then when default constructor is invoked. So I'm going to collapse these two because there are two more important things that I want to show you, and those are copy constructor and assignment operator. So as we said, copy constructor, which is this method here, is invoked when you want to create a new object based on an existing object. For example, this line here where I'm creating movie 4, I want to copy movie 1, and based on that, I want to create movie 4. And that is exactly when we use copy constructor. So if I remove this breakpoint and I put another breakpoint here, on this line, when I'm creating movie 4, if I run my application, let's see what is going to happen. So the execution was paused here. If I press F11, as you can see, it will take us to copy constructor method. So now let's see what this copy constructor does. So if I press F10, it is going to start executing our copy constructor. And what we want to do here is we want to create new object called movie 4 based on object called movie 1. So here, as original parameter, we will get our movie 1 with all of its properties. So Dark Knight action 9.5, and what we want to do is we want to create our new object, which is currently empty, so all of its properties are empty. We want to construct it based on this original that we have received. So if I press F10, name will be the Dark Knight, and then if I press F10 again, as you can see, genre will become action, and then currently rating has the default value of integer, but if I press F10 again, it will have the same value as our original object. Okay, so that is how you copy this original and construct a new object based on that original. Now, something interesting here is this part. So here we are receiving one parameter. It is constant and it is passed as a reference. And the reason for this is following. If you know anything about passing parameters to functions, you know that there are two ways to do that. You can pass by value and you can pass by reference. So here I'm passing the address of the original object, which means that whatever this method here does, it will work on the original itself. So then we are in danger that it is going to change the original. So in order to prevent that, what we can do is we can simply say const. So I'm passing the original object, the address of the movie 1. So whatever you do here, you are performing it on the original movie. But in order to make sure that you are not going to change it, I will say that it is constant. And now we cannot do something like this. We cannot say original.name is equal to test. Okay, but if we didn't have this const part, then we would be in danger that this can happen. So in order to prevent this, we simply add const, and as you can see, now we get this little red squiggly, which means, hey, you cannot change const objects. So let's delete this code here. And once more, here we are passing the address of the original with the help of this little ampersand. Now, another way is to pass this parameter by value. And that would be like this. So we don't need ampersand, we don't need const. And in this case, we are passing a copy. So this method here is going to create its own copy, and whatever it does, it will do that on the copy. But here is something very tricky, and that is the fact that here, when we are creating the copy, we would need copy constructor. So that would create circular dependency, because this method here is the copy constructor. And in order to create copy constructor, you need copy constructor. So that would be problematic. And that is the reason why we cannot pass this parameter by value. So we can only pass it by reference. And in order to prevent any changing of the original, we simply say that it is going to be const, like this. So this is how copy constructor is going to look like. Okay, so if I press F10 again, it is going to take me here. And now when I hover over my movie 4, as you can see, it has the same properties as movie 1 because we have used movie 1 to create movie 4. And that is how copy constructor works. Once more, when you are creating completely new object based on an existing object, copy constructor will be invoked. Okay, so let's stop our application. And another method that I want to show you is assignment operator, and that is this method here. So here is how assignment operator looks like, and here is how copy constructor looks like. Now let's collapse this, and let's see this line here, because this line here is when we invoke assignment operator. So here we are trying to assign new values to movie 4, and those would be the same values that movie 2 has. So we are trying to replace what movie 4 currently is with whatever is inside movie 2. So if I remove this breakpoint but put new breakpoint on this line here and I start my program, as you can see, the execution will be paused on this line here. So if I press F11, it is going to take us to assignment operator. So as you can see, assignment operator looks very similar to copy constructor. Here we are receiving the same parameter. So we receive original movie, and that is being passed by reference. And then in order to prevent any changing of that original, we make it constant. And then here we are going to change the values of name, genre, and rating based on these values that we have received as a parameter. So we are going to change the values of movie 4 based on movie 2. So if I press F10 again, as you can see, name becomes the Lion King, and then genre is currently action, but when I execute this line, it is going to be animated because that is what is inside this genre here. And then rating is currently 9.5, but if I press F10, it is going to become 8 because that is the rating of the Lion King, which is the original movie that we have received as a parameter here. So at the end of assignment operator, we return a pointer to this, and this is the movie that we have just changed. So since we return a pointer, the return type of the function needs to be the address. So this function returns address of the movie, and whatever it returns here, that will be assigned to our movie 4. So if I press F10 again, I'm going to leave this assignment operator, and now if I hover over movie 4, as you can see, it has the same properties as our movie 2 because here we have invoked assignment operator and we replaced everything that movie 4 was holding with the values that movie 2 is holding. Now, something interesting related to this assignment operator method is this part here. So here we are passing the original movie and we are passing its address, which means the address of movie 2. So whatever this method here does, in case that it changes anything on the original, that is also going to be reflected here on movie 2, which should not happen. So in order to prevent that from happening, we simply add this const part, and that means that our assignment operator method cannot change this original, even though it has the address of the original itself. Now, in this case, when we are working with assignment operator, you don't have to do it like this. When we were talking about copy constructor, we said that this is not possible. It is not possible to pass by value because in this situation, we are creating a copy of this object, and then this method is working on that copy. And in copy constructor, that is not possible because it creates that circular dependency where in order to create copy constructor, you need to copy an object. So that is not possible, but in case of an assignment operator, that is possible. So here we can create a copy of this object that we are passing, but it is also redundant. So there is no need to invoke copy constructor here, and better option is to pass the address of the original, and then in order to prevent this method from changing the original, you simply make it const. So that is also another difference between assignment operator and copy constructor. In copy constructor, you absolutely have to do this, and in assignment operator, it is recommended to do this. But once more, let's remember the biggest and the most important difference between copy constructor and assignment operator. Let's stop the application. So as I said, the biggest and most important difference is that copy constructor is invoked when you want to create a completely new object and initialize it with the values of an existing object. So here we are invoking copy constructor, and then assignment operator is going to be invoked when you want to change the values of already existing object and replace them with values of some other object. So that is the most important difference between assignment operator and copy constructor. So let's remove this breakpoint, and now I'm going to explain one very tricky situation that is hard to understand for most beginners. So please have in mind what I have just explained about the difference between copy constructor and assignment operator. And with that difference in mind, reply to the following question. If I write this line of code, what do you think? What it will invoke? Copy constructor or assignment operator? So please pause the video and write your reply in the comment section, and then you can watch my explanation. So this line of code is going to invoke copy constructor even though it has this assignment symbol. And this is what confuses a lot of beginners. A lot of beginners would ask now, okay, but why is it invoking copy constructor when you can clearly see this assignment symbol? Why isn't it then invoking assignment operator? And the reason for that is, as I already explained, whenever you are creating new object, completely new object, that is exactly what we are doing here. We are creating new movie. It doesn't matter if you put this symbol here or if you use these parentheses. In both cases, copy constructor will be invoked. So that is the reason why this line is invoking copy constructor, even though you have this assignment symbol. And then later, when we try to change the value of that already existing movie, in this line, we will invoke assignment operator. So this line here invokes copy constructor because we are creating completely new object based on an existing object. And then this line here is simply replacing the values of already existing object. So here we are invoking assignment operator. And to prove this, let's start our application. Let's put breakpoint on this line here. And if I start the application, the execution is going to be paused here. So when I press F11, as you can see, it is going to take us to copy constructor. Even though we have this assignment symbol, as I already explained, this line is going to invoke copy constructor. Okay, let's stop the program. And now I will remove this breakpoint and I will put put another breakpoint on this line here. And now if I run the program, it will be paused here. So if I press F11, this time, as you can see, it is taking us to the assignment operator. Okay, so let's remove this breakpoint and let's go very quickly once more through all of these examples. So we said that this line here is invoking parameterized constructor. So here I will put PC, and then this line here the same. So again, PC. And then this line here, we are not passing any parameters. We are just creating a new object. So this line will invoke default constructor, so DC. And then here we are creating a new movie based on already existing movie. So this line is going to invoke copy constructor, so CC. And then here we are simply changing or replacing values of already existing movie with the values from some other movie. So this line here is going to invoke assignment operator, AO. So this line here is going to invoke assignment operator. And you are probably wondering what this line here does. And this line here does absolutely the same as this line here, and this is just more explicit way to invoke assignment operator, because what assignment operator is, it is just overloaded operator. And I have already created another video where I talk about operator overloading. That is this video here. I will also put it in the description, and there you can learn how you can overload operators. But basically what it means is that this operator and then assignment sign is simply a method that we are invoking on movie4 object, and we are passing this parameter. And as you can see, that is what happens here. So it is a function that has this name, operator, and then assignment. And then here is the parameter that we are receiving. And then whatever this method here returns, that will be assigned to this movie4 object. So basically, this line here and this line here, they do absolutely the same, but this approach here is not used very often because this approach here looks a lot more understandable and easier to read. But you can use whichever you prefer, this one or this one. I am going to comment this one because this is the approach that you are going to see more often. But remember, they do absolutely the same thing. And then this line here is invoking copy constructor, even though we have this assignment symbol. As we already said, whenever you are creating new object based on an existing object, you invoke copy constructor. So here I will put CC, and then here we are changing or replacing the values that are inside movie 5 with the values of movie 2. So here we are invoking assignment operator. Okay, now something interesting that I didn't tell you before is that in our current situation with the code that we currently have, we don't need to create our own copy constructor, and we also don't need to create our own assignment operator because our compiler is smart enough to do that work on its own. But as soon as you start adding pointers to your class, in that situation, you absolutely need to create your own copy constructor and your own assignment operator. So now let's see how that is going to look like. So let's say that I also want to know which actors are acting in each movie. So I will add those properties here. I will add int property and call it actors counter. Okay, and then I want to add another property, and that is going to be string pointer called actors. So this property here is string pointer, which means that it is going to point to the array of actors where we are going to store names of all of the actors. And here we are going to hold the counter so that we know how many actors this movie has and how many elements our array has. And as I said, as soon as you start adding pointers to your class, you need to be a lot more careful because then you will have to create your own copy constructor, you will have to create your own assignment operator, and also you will have to take care of deallocating that memory, which means freeing that memory, giving it back to the operating system so that it can be reused for some other application. And that means that you will have to also create destructor. So let's do that part. Inside this parameterized constructor, I am going to say that initially, when I first create a movie, actors counter is going to be equal to 0. And I also want to initialize this array. So I will say actors is going to be equal to new string array that has this many elements. So new string array that holds this many elements. So that is the change that we need to make inside our constructor. We need to allocate the memory for actors that we want to store for each movie. And then also, since we have allocated memory inside our constructor, we need to create destructor where we are going to deallocate memory. So this is how destructor is going to look like. You put this tilde symbol, and then you use the same name for the destructor as the name of the class. It does not have any parameters. And then here, what you need to do is you need to deallocate everything that you have allocated inside constructor. So here you say, please delete the array of actors like this. And also I am going to null this array. So I will say that actors is null ptr so that we don't hold the address in memory that is no longer ours. With this, we have simply cleared that memory, and now I'm simply saying, hey, this pointer, which was previously holding the address in the memory where our actors were stored, it is no longer going to have that address. I will simply null that pointer. So this is how our destructor is going to look like. And then we need to make changes to two more places. We need to change our copy constructor, and we need to change assignment operator. And I'm going to explain those two on a visual example. So let's talk about copy constructor. Imagine the following situation. We have movie 1, its name is The Dark Knight, genre is action, rating is 9.5, and then actors counter is 2, so we have 2 actors. And then this actors pointer, it is just pointing to an array somewhere in our memory. Here is the address of that array, so that is this array here. And that array holds 2 elements. 2 actors, Christian Bale and Heath Ledger. And if you know about arrays, you know that the indexation of arrays starts with 0. So this first element has the index of 0 and the second element has the index of 1. So that is how our movie 1 looks like. Now, imagine that you want to do something like this. Please create movie 6 based on movie 1. So here we are invoking copy constructor. And this here is how the code of our copy constructor should look like. So now we are going to go line by line through this code and explain what is happening in memory when each line is executed. So inside this copy constructor, we have received the original, which is our movie 1. And based on that movie 1, we want to construct or to initialize movie 6. So let's go line by line and see what is going to happen. So the first line says name is equal to original.name. So I will simply copy that like this. And then genre is going to be original.genre. So let's copy that part as well. And then rating is original.rating. I will copy that part also. And then actors counter is original.actors counter. Let's copy that part as well. And then we come to this line here. Here it says that actors is going to allocate new array of strings. So let's do that. Let's allocate new memory. Let's say that I will allocate that memory here. So the address is going to be 00BBFF. Okay. And what this actors pointer holds is just that address. Now here on that address, I am allocating new array that has this many elements. So here we have value of 2, so that means 2 elements. Okay, so we have allocated new array that holds 2 elements. So then with this for loop, what we want to do is we want to iterate through those elements and we want to copy each element of our original object into this newly created object. So we copy this first element here and then this second element here. So that is what this copy constructor does and how it copies first object into the second object. So that is how our movie 6 is going to be constructed based on movie 1. So now I will go back to my Visual Studio and I will write this code for my copy constructor. So your copy constructor should look like this. So now let's see what kind of changes we need to make to our assignment operator, which currently looks like this. And I am also going to explain that on a visual example with the help of Excel. So this is how assignment operator should look like, and as you can see, it is a little bit different than copy constructor. And now we are going to explain line by line how assignment operator should behave. So this is the situation that we have. We have movie 1 with these values. So it is Dark Knight, genre is action, rating is 9.5, it has 2 actors, and then the array of actors is this array here on this address. So we have Christian Bale and Heath Ledger. And then we have another movie, movie 2. Its name is The Lion King. It is animated movie. Its rating is 8. It has 3 actors. And then actors are stored on this address here. So we have 3 actors, Saldina Norak, Denzel Washington, and Leonardo DiCaprio. These are completely wrong for The Lion King, but let's say that these are actors who act in The Lion King. So what we want to do is this line here. So we want to say, please change movie 2 so that it has the same values as movie 1. So to movie 2, I'm going to assign whatever movie 1 holds. So let's see how we are going to do that based on this code here. So I will skip this first line here because I will explain that part later. It is going to be easier for you to understand. So what I want to do is this line here. Name is equal to original.name. So I simply copy the name of movie 1 and I put that as the name for my movie 2. Okay, and then genre is original.genre. So let's do that part as well. So this movie is going to be action, and then rating is original.rating. So 9.5 here, and then actors counter will be whatever we have here. So instead of 3, we will have 2 actors. And then this part of the code here says, please delete the array of actors, which means that first I have to deallocate this array here. So I need to delete that so that we can free that memory so that it can be reused by some other application. And only then I can allocate new array of strings with this many elements. So only then I can say, please allocate new array. The address is going to be, for example, 00CCFF. And then this pointer here is going to point to that new address. And here I'm going to allocate new array that has this many elements. So here I will have array of 2 elements. And then I will use for loop in order to count from 0 to actors counter. And in each iteration, I am going to copy 1 actor from this array here into this array here. And then in the next iteration, I will copy this actor here. Okay, so now I have created movie 2 based on movie 1. So as we already said, the most important difference between copy constructor and assignment operator is we use copy constructor when we want to create completely new object based on another object. And we use assignment operator when we want to change or replace values of already existing object with the values of some other object. And when we are talking about differences in code, then the difference is this line here. When you are writing the code for assignment operator, then you need to delete or deallocate the memory that the previous object was using before you allocate new memory. Otherwise, you are going to have memory leaks, which means that if you did not deallocate this memory here and you simply allocated this memory, then your operating system would not be able to reuse this memory and to give it to some other application so that application can use it. So once more, when you are writing the code for assignment operator, you first need to deallocate the memory that previous object was holding, and then you can allocate new memory, and in that new memory you can copy new elements and new things that you want to store in that object. And with copy constructor, we don't need to do that because, as we said, when we are using copy constructor, we are creating completely new object which was not holding any memory previously. Okay, another important thing that I promised to explain is this line here. If the address of original is not the same as this. So what does this line here do? This line will prevent any problems that could happen in case that programmer tries to do this. Movie 1 is equal to movie 1. If we don't have this line and we try to do something like this, we will get a problem that is caused by something called self-destruction. So let me explain what that means. So if we try to do this and we don't have this line here which checks if we are trying to assign the object to itself, then the following would happen. So name will be equal to original.name. So we simply copy this code here and then paste it to the same place. And then genre is original.genre. So again, I copy this and I paste it to the same place. Rating will be original.rating. Again, copy, paste to the same place. Actors counter is original.actors counter. Again, copy, paste. And then we come to this line here, which says delete array of actors. So what we do is this, okay? And then here it says, please allocate new array that has this many actors. So I allocate new array. The address of the new array is going to be 00ddff. And I want to allocate the array that has 2 elements. So then what I do is I iterate and I copy the elements from this array here into this array here. But I don't have anything inside this array because what happened was self-destruction. What I did in this line here is I deleted my array and now I have a problem. So in order to prevent that problem from happening, what you do is at the beginning of your assignment operator, you simply say, hey, if the user is trying to assign the same object to itself, then please don't do any of this code. Okay, or in other words, what this line of code here does is it says, do this code here only if the user is not trying to assign the object to itself. So this is how your assignment operator should look like. I will write this code into my assignment operator in Visual Studio and then I will be back. So here is how the assignment operator code should look like. Let's collapse this. And then here is how our copy constructor code should look like. Now, in order to be able to test this, I need to create 2 more functions. One function that will allow us to add new actor to the movie, and another function that will allow us to print all of the details about the movie. So I'm going to add those 2 functions, and then I will be back to explain. So I have added these 2 methods, add actor and print info. So now I'm going to explain what they do, and I will explain this method first. So let's go back to Excel and let's see what this method here does line by line. So here is our method, and then this is our situation. So what I want to be able to do with this method is something like this. So I want to be able to say movie1.addActor, and then I pass the name of the actor. And what this method here should do is it should add that actor to this movie. So now let's see line by line how this method will perform that job. So this first line here says to create a pointer called new actors. So let's do that here. Let's say new actors. Okay. And this pointer is going to point to the new memory that I will allocate. So here I will allocate new array of strings that will have this many elements. Actors counter +1. So that is 2 + 1, which means that I will allocate an array that has 3 elements. Okay, so the address of this array is going to be 00bbff, and this pointer will point to this address, and then the indexes will be 0, 1, and 2. Okay, so then we perform this for loop here. So what this for loop does is it simply assigns to each element of my new array the actor from my old array. So here I will say Christian Bale, and then here I will copy Heath Ledger, and then the last element will remain empty. So then in this line of code here, to the last element, so new actors of actors counter, so new array of this index, we will assign our new actor, and that is Saldina Nurak. So let's put that here. Okay, so we have assigned new actor here, and then we can delete our old array of actors. So we can deallocate this array here to free the memory. And then to our actors pointer, which is this pointer here, we will assign new actors. So now instead of holding this address, our actors pointer will hold this address. And then we will simply increment the counter of actors by 1. So 2 plus 1 will be equal to 3. And now we have 3 actors, and the address of the actors array is this address here. So that means that our movie has these 3 actors. So that is how this method here should behave. And now you can copy this method and paste it in your Visual Studio. And then the second method that I have created is print info, and we use this method in order to print the information about the specific movie. So we say movie1.printinfo, and inside this method we print the name, genre, rating, and then we say actors, and we iterate through our array of actors and print each actor of that movie. And one important thing is that both of these methods are created as member methods of this class, which means that they are inside the class. So now let's test the code that we have written. So let's delete this code from our main function. And what I want to do here is I want to add some actors to our movie1. So movie1.add actor. I want to add Christian Bale. Okay, and then I also want to add Heath Ledger. Okay, like this. So now what I can do is I can say movie1.printinfo, and if I start the program, let's see what is going to be the result. So we get the name of the movie, genre, rating, and then here are the actors of the movie. So now let's test copy constructor. So what I can do is I can create a new movie. Let's call it movie 3. And to this movie, I will simply assign the same values that movie 1 has. So this code here is going to invoke copy constructor, which means that if I say movie3.printinfo, I should get the same information that movie 1 has. So let's start the application. Okay, so this is our movie 1, and then this here is our movie 3. And as you can see, our copy constructor works because our movie 3 has the same information as movie 1, because we used copy constructor in order to create this movie based on this movie. Okay. So let's also test assignment operator. So here, after I create my movie 3 with the same values that movie 1 has, what I want to do is I want to change them. I want to say that movie 3 is equal to movie 2, like this. So then if I print movie 3, let's see what we are going to get. Okay, so here we get The Lion King, animated and rating is 8, and it does not have any actors, which means that our assignment operator works as well. And one last thing that I want to do is I also want to assign some actors to movie 2. So I want to say movie2.add actor, and here let's say Saldina Nurak. Okay, so that is me. And then let's also say Denzel Washington, and then let's also add another actor, let's say Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, so I have assigned 3 actors to my movie 2. So here I'm creating my movie 3 based on movie 1, but then I'm changing its values so that it has the same values as movie 2 has. So this name, this genre, this rating, and then these actors here. So when I print movie 3, let's see what we are going to get. Okay, and as you can see, movie 3 is Lion King, animated movie, rating is 8, and then these are the actors. So this means that our assignment operator works as well. Okay, and then once more, the most important thing to remember is the difference between copy constructor and assignment operator. So copy constructor will be invoked when you are creating completely new object based on another object, and then assignment operator will be invoked when you are simply replacing the values of already existing object with some other object. And please don't be fooled by something like this. Movie, and then let's say movie 4 is equal to movie 2. So this here, even though it looks like assignment operator, is still invoking copy constructor because we are creating completely new object based on another object. And then later, if you want to change the value of this movie 4 and you want to say, for example, movie 4 is equal to something else, then this line here will invoke assignment operator. Okay, so I hope that this video helped you to understand the difference between copy constructor and assignment operator. If you want more similar videos, then simply give this video a thumbs up so that I know to create more videos like this one in the future. And if you have any questions, you can leave those in the comment section. And if you want to learn practical programming, you want to learn how to build real-world applications and start a successful career as a programmer, and you also enjoy my teaching style and want me to be your mentor on that journey and take you from beginner to expert, then you can enroll in my practical programming course. More details will be in the description. So I have created the entire plan for you. All of the exercises, tasks, lessons, everything that you need to do is going to be on one place, and your job is just to follow that plan. And if you do so, if you stay consistent, watch all of the lessons, do all of the exercises, I'm sure that you are going to achieve your goals. And as I said, we also have a special discount, so the fastest people who enroll in the course using the link in the description will also be able to save some money. And if you're not sure if this course is for you or not, then you can try it out for 7 days, and if for any reason you think that it is not worth your money, you can get a full refund. So you really have nothing to lose, but a lot to gain. This course can completely transform your future, and it can help you to start a very successful career as a programmer. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'm going to see you in another one. Bye!